So this is our dinner today. It's it's all vegan, so it's an omelet-ish sort of thing made with chickpea flour, and that's dessert. And this is pumpkin hummus. So I'm going to talk about this a little bit, this meal. And James should be here already, but I am always early and he is always late. But the meal is on time today, so he should be here. So anyway, I'm going to try this a little bite of it. So the Moroccan chickpea omelet is from page 54 of Vegan 100 by Gaz Oakley. And I made it pretty much the same, but I'll talk about it in a minute. And then the hummus is from excuse me. I got a little spice, a little heat there in my throat. Hummus is pumpkin and sage from page 87, and made that a little differently too. Should have some water. James is not going to appreciate that heat, but I like it. Anyway, so I have one more recipe I've chosen to show you out of this book. These are so super easy. And you will look at some of these recipes when you pick this out of the library, because you should. There's good recipes in here. And you'll think, oh, that seems so complicated. No, he just is really bad at writing a cookbook. He does not know how to do it. He needs somebody who actually knows how to write a cookbook to go through and make the steps simple, because they're actually really easy recipes, and they don't even need to be as difficult as he's made them, let alone as difficult as he's written them up to be. So anyway, for example, the chickpea omelet. Now mine, I put a fair amount of zucchini in. I didn't put as much zucchini in James's, so his came out like I was able. In this fellow's recipe, he has the chickpea stuff, and then he doesn't flip it, because you can't flip it the way he's written it up. He doesn't have anything to hold it together in there. So he uses the chickpea flour, but he has nothing, like say with spelt, which has gluten in it, to bind the stuff together, so he can't flip it. So what he does is he mixes up the batter, he pours in the pan, and then he puts the pan under the broiler to cook the top, which that's fine. But that seems really complicated. It doesn't need to be. Just find something to put in it that keeps it vegan and will actually bind it so you can flip it. I didn't have problem flipping James's. Mine I did because I added too much moisture to the zucchini. So next time I just have to monkey with it. If I wanted to put that much zucchini, I'd have to adjust for that in my batter, right? So not that complicated. Now, another thing, when he is, it's so complicated the way he has, like, honestly, his batter, it takes a couple paragraphs for him to describe how to make batter. And this is not complicated. Now, when I was a teenager, I really liked pistachio pudding. Now, I think it was the color, because wow, that's exciting color, isn't it? So, because honestly, it probably tastes just like every other pudding, because they pretty much taste like sugar. So, anyway, I love pistachio pudding, and when I was reading the box when I was a teenager, I read instructions. So anyway, I don't necessarily follow them. As an example here, I did not follow his recipes exactly, but because one, while I'm reading it, I've already made omelets with chickpea flour before, and I know that they're not going to hold together if I flip them. If I make them like a big omelet size. If I make them little, I can flip them. Anyway, so I already have experience with that. Now, he doesn't have a lot of experience with that. He's a young fellow. Anyway, now back to the pistachio pudding. So, I'm reading the box when I'm a teenager, and I notice shake method, and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna do that. So I take the jar, shake, 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 pudding, hooray! You know, that's so easy. So I use the shake method for a lot of recipes. Batter, you betcha I do. It's easy. And if you use pretty much like the same sort of jar or whatever, I mean, I eyeball things anyway, so I don't even know where my measuring cup is, honestly. I don't know where I put it. I don't care, because I don't need it. I just put things in, I go, oh, it needs a little more whatever, and then there you go. It works out. So anyway, but if you use the same size jar every time, and you're the kind of person that, oh, I need to measure everything, or I can't handle it, then just look in your jar when you put if you're making pancakes or whatever, wherever you put your flour line to, you look at it, go, oh, yep, that's it. And then you just get in the habit of, or making salad dressings. Always shake them up. Shake them in a jar. Works out really well. Anyway, so, I don't think I was going to say anything else about the omelet recipe. Now, the guac recipe, well, he uses tahini in here. I did not. I used 2 lemons because I love lemons. And what else did he use? Oh, he has some optional pine nuts. I did not use pine nuts. So for me, I'm looking at ingredients like pumpkin and sage and stuff, and I've used ingredients like this before. I know it tastes good, and I think pecan butter instead of tahini. Yeah. So do it my way. So good. I've already, I didn't give myself the salad that I gave James in. Oh, I'll tell you about the salad in a minute too. Because I've already really filled up on hummus. I was eating so much of that while I was putting it away in the containers in the fridge. A lot got put into Pauline. So, anyway. He has been cooking since he was tall enough to reach the kitchen counter. And a former professional chef, he went vegan in 2015 for health benefits. Anyway, he's launched Avant-Garde Vegan on Instagram and set up his own YouTube channel. Now hugely successful, it attracts thousands of new subscribers every month. Well, good for him. You know, he's an attractive young man, and I'm glad this has worked out for him. I am lucky if I maintain 2 subscribers to my YouTube channel or my blog. But hey, whatever. He has very attractive knees that you can see through his pants, which he has cut holes in. You can tell it's cut holes, not worn holes. His pants are not worn out. He just wants to look like he's down on his luck and doesn't know how to mend his own pants, I suppose. But anyway, now he hasn't been vegan for very long, and somehow he's managed to fill out a cookbook, and I do believe that he's actually made these recipes. And why I believe that is because he has written them out in very complicated ways. So I think that's all him. Now, these recipes, I have seen them in other cookbooks. So a lot of these recipes that seem really interesting and unique are not unique to him. He has found them elsewhere. I have seen them elsewhere. So anyway, but I would recommend this cookbook, and this is mighty tasty vegan omelet. And awesome hummus, but I mean, I changed it to make it better. Early Native American Recipes and Remedies by Dwayne R. Lund. This is really thin. And yep, there are pictures. There's really nothing of use in here. So, well, there's some things like, I didn't know that you could eat, what is it, milkweed pods. Apparently when they're green, you can cook them up. I can't remember, they said to cook them up and serve them with something. Oh, there we go. Green but filled out milkweed pods were boiled in water until tender. Try serving the cooked pods with a cheese sauce over them. So I learned something. I wouldn't recommend that book. From the Earth to Beyond the Sky, Native American Medicine by Evelyn Wolfson. Now I'll see if I can remember. This is the one with the big writing, I think. Can you read it from there? Humongous. Humongous writing. So it looks like it's a decent sized book. Nope. Took almost zero time to go through this sucker. And there are some things in here about various plant cures and stuff like that. But there was one, I'm trying to find it now because I can't remember what it was. But, oh yes, white pine here. I think this was the one. Some tribes made tea from the new green buds or seed cones to induce diarrhea and soothe joint pains. Now, they don't give any information in this book about how much, say, you would use for making tea, how much of the new green buds or seed cones, and you might want one of those effects but not the other. So I don't know, do you just drink some and go, okay, my joints feel better, and oh no, there we go, we went too far? I don't know. So I would not recommend this book. Not useful. Sacred Places in North America, A Journey into the Medicine Wheel by Courtney Milne. And Courtney's a man with a giant beard. Anyway, I like this book because, I mean, this is exactly what I thought it would be. There's a lot of pretty pictures. Like here we go. There's Sedona, very pretty. And there's a few little stories about whatever myths and stuff, and who had these myths, and you know, it's most people, they might want to learn a little bit about one native tribe and what they believed in and where they were, and this gives them that. So, and plus I got to see a picture of the Great Sandhills in southwest Saskatchewan are a 300,000 acre post-glacial desert surrounded by prairie. That's a desert, all right. So, and that's on page 115. And James says we're going to go there because we have went to the national park, which is just a little further on, but we haven't actually been to this desert. So we're going to go sometime just so we can see it, because it's huge, really, for a desert in Canada. I did go to one in Manitoba. Now, what was that park called? It was great. Can't remember right now, so I can't tell you, but I would recommend this one. It doesn't take long to go through. None of these did. But it gives you just a little bit about a whole bunch of different tribes. So you get to see that, wow, these are different people with different beliefs. So, you know, there's one thing that bothers me about people referring to Native American Indians or natives or indigenous people or whatever is, I don't care what kind of terminology. I care about how people are actually viewed and treated. And if you look at just, if you like to group people together and say, oh, well, all the same. No, not true. Different cultures. So it's important to realize that. And so this book, even though it's very short and there are a lot of beautiful pictures in it, this allows you to see that. And so I think this is a very good book and it's worth reading. So that's it.